His wanderings, or what might have been called wanderings had they been conducted at a slower tempo. He was 53 years old, slightly overweight, an incessant smoker, but during the past months he had amazed his colleagues by how quickly he could move about his future park. An employee setting out in a car to check on a mechanical crocodile or a still dry bend of riverbed would find that Disney had somehow beaten him there on foot. The scary eyebrow was seen more often in his studio than at the worksite. He could be chilly and remote, stingy with praise, but there was nothing of the snob about him. He always liked having a Franks and beans lunch with his workers in the food tents that had fueled his increasingly large force as the park neared completion. He eventually came upon one of his art directors, Ken Anderson, who had been on his feet for days, groggily painting an attraction. Disney joined him and picked up a brush. When they were done, the two walked down Main Street, an exuberant fantasy based on turn-of-the-century commercial architecture, to what had been named Town Square. They sat together on a curb, looking out over the dully gleaming streetcar tracks, which stood on Orange County dirt. The paving around them had yet to be laid. Disney put a match to a Chesterfield, his brand of cigarettes. He was always lighting a Chesterfield. Before he'd finished it, a workman hurried up. "There's no power on the Toad ride. Somebody cut the wires." Anderson wearily rose to his feet. "Don't worry, Walt. I'll take care of it." He went off into the clanging darkness. The air was dense and close. Tomorrow would be a scorcher. Well, that was better than the biblical sluices of rain that had recently swamped the site. Disney decided to call it quits for the night. He walked toward one of the town square civic buildings, a firehouse, and climbed the stairs behind it to the apartment he'd had built on the second floor. It was small but prettily decorated in the high middle-class style of 50 years earlier. The last of 1,000, 10,000 decisions lay behind him in the ruckus and dazzle beyond the narrow windows. There'd been a plumber's strike, and he'd had to make a choice between installing drinking fountains or restrooms. "People can drink Pepsi-Cola," he said, "but they can't pee in the street." The street was still unfinished. From the distance came the prehistoric grumblings of trucks pouring the asphalt that crowds of people, governors, movie stars, railroad presidents, hordes of children, would be walking come daylight when Disneyland opened its gates for the first time. Outside, ecstasies of threats and swearing rose between the workers trying to set curbstones and the television crews whose wiring they were screwing up. Not only was Disney inaugurating an amusement park, he was to be the host of the largest live TV show ever mounted. Stations from New York to San Francisco had been stripped of equipment for this extravaganza. The American Broadcasting Company had spent weeks pre-recording shows so that the station wouldn't have to go dead during the days leading up to the ceremonies. ABC was Disney's main sponsor. He had twisted the company's corporate arm to make a deal. "I'll give you programming if you help pay for my park." That was a deal the better-established stations, CBS and NBC, wouldn't touch. They wanted a Disney show too, but not enough to get involved with the amusement park industry, which by 1955 had become widely perceived as both dangerous and disreputable. "Why build an amusement park?" Walt's wife, Lillian, asked him. "They're so squalid and depressing." His brother, Roy, an immensely capable businessman, had posed the same question. "Walt will get over it," he'd assured people back in the beginning. But Walt hadn't. And now Roy was in the same boat with him. Disney went to bed. He'd come a long way from being the farm boy who had shivered along snowy pre-dawn streets delivering newspapers to help keep his family solvent in Kansas City. He was famous now, had almost single-handedly brought animation from a coarse novelty to a highly profitable art. But at the moment he felt no more secure than he had back in Missouri. "Why did you do this?" a journalist asked amid the park's scaffolding, and received the simple answer, "For 20 years I wanted something of my own." There was a good deal more to it than that. Disney had become tired of animation, had been embittered by a 1941 strike at his studio, and like so many at the end of World War II, felt dissatisfied and adrift. And this man, who had so acute a sense of what the public would respond to, believed that other Americans...
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.